What if I told you there's a way to make her think about you constantly, even when you're nowhere to be found? No calls, no texts, no desperate social media posts, just silence. And yet every notification she gets, every quiet moment she has, you're right there, in her mind. Sounds like magic, right? It's not. It's strategy. A strategy rooted in timeless wisdom and cutting-edge psychology. Let me be clear. The no-contact rule isn't just about ghosting someone or playing hard to get. No, this is a psychological and emotional power move, and most people completely misunderstand it. They think ignoring her will magically make her come running back. Wrong. In reality, the no-contact rule is about you. It's about mastering your emotions, building your value, and letting your silence say what words never could. Now, here's the shocking truth. Human psychology is wired in a way that makes absence more powerful than presence. When you disappear, when you step back, reclaim your space and stop chasing, it flips a switch in the other person's mind. Suddenly, your silence becomes a puzzle, a mystery they can't ignore. And guess what? The less you give, the more they crave. But here's the catch. Only a few have the discipline to truly master this art. That's where Stoicism comes in. This isn't just about tactics. This is about mindset. Stoic principles teach us emotional control, patience, and the power of detachment. Together with the psychological principles of scarcity and intrigue, they form a bulletproof strategy to not only stay on her mind, but to elevate yourself to a whole new level. So let me ask you this. Are you ready to stop chasing and start mastering yourself? Are you ready to take control of your emotions, your mindset, and your life? Because today, I'm going to expose the secrets behind the no-contact rule, how it works, why it works, and how you can use it to not only make her think about you constantly, but to transform yourself into someone who doesn't need her validation in the first place. Welcome to Stoic Blessing, where we don't just talk about ancient wisdom, we live it. This isn't some cheap relationship advice you'll find scrolling late at night. This is about rewiring your mindset and embracing a life of strength, discipline, and unshakable confidence. And before we dive in, I want you to do something for yourself. Take a moment right now and comment this empowering phrase, "I am the master of my emotions." Write it, say it, own it. Because by the time this video ends, you're going to understand just how powerful that phrase truly is. Are you ready to learn how to stay on her mind constantly while building unshakable confidence? Then stick with me. Let's dive in. Number 1, the psychology behind no contact. Now that you're here, let's pull back the curtain on what makes the no contact rule so powerful. To understand this, we have to dive deep into the human mind and uncover a psychological truth. We value what feels scarce and mysterious. Think about it. When something is readily available, when it's always there for the taking, we tend to overlook it. But when it's gone, suddenly, it's all we can think about. That's the foundation of the no-contact rule. When you pull back, when you stop reaching out, stop chasing, and stop making yourself readily available, you create a vacuum in her life. And the human brain hates vacuums. It's wired to fill them. She'll start asking herself questions. Why hasn't he called? Is he over me? Did I matter to him at all? That little seed of curiosity you planted, it grows. Every day that goes by without contact, the mystery deepens, and so does her desire to solve it. But here's the part most people miss. The no-contact rule isn't about punishing her or playing childish games. It's about letting absence do the work for you. See, the human mind is wired to romanticize what's missing. When you're no longer in her daily routine, her mind starts filling in the gaps. And here's the kicker. It doesn't just fill those gaps with memories of what actually happened. It amplifies the good parts. It edits out the arguments, the flaws, the mundane. Suddenly, you're not just the guy she dated, you're the guy she can't stop thinking about. But there's a catch. If you break this silence, if you text her out of weakness or desperation, You shatter the illusion. You show your hand and all the intrigue you've built. Gone. That's why mastering the no-contact rule requires patience, discipline, and a rock-solid mindset. Here's where Stoicism takes the lead. The Stoics understood something profound about human nature. You cannot control other people, but you can always control yourself. By stepping back, by letting go of the need to control her reaction, you shift the power dynamic completely. Instead of reacting to her, you're choosing to act in a way that strengthens you. And here's a bonus. The more you focus on yourself during no contact, the more your value naturally increases. Work on your fitness, your mindset, your passions. Every step you take toward becoming the best version of yourself is another reason for her to think about you. Why? Because people are drawn to strength, and nothing is stronger than someone who is completely at peace with their own life. But let me challenge you again. Right now in the comments, write this phrase: I do not chase, I attract. This is your reminder that you don't need to beg for anyone's attention. Let your silence speak louder than words. Still with me? Great, because now we're going to dig into the heart of this strategy, how ancient Stoic principles turn the no-contact rule into an unstoppable force. Let's move on. Number 2. Stoicism applied to no contact. So, how does Stoicism, the ancient philosophy of self-mastery, transform the no-contact rule into a life-changing strategy? Let's break it down. At its core, Stoicism teaches us one crucial principle: focus only on what you can control. You can't control her feelings, her thoughts, or whether she reaches out to you. But what can you control? Your own actions, your own emotions. And that's exactly what makes no contact so powerful. It forces you to turn your energy inward where it belongs. Imagine this scenario. You're tempted to text her. Your emotions are screaming at you to break the silence. You start rationalizing, telling yourself, it's just one message. But here's what the Stoics would tell you. That impulse is nothing but a test, a challenge to see if you're ruled by your emotions or if you rule them. The moment you resist, the moment you choose discipline over impulse, you're not just following the no-contact rule. You're building a fortress of self-control that no one, not even her, can break. Another core teaching of Stoicism is detachment. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop being attached to outcomes you can't control. Whether she comes back or not becomes secondary. What matters is that you're creating space to focus on your growth, your peace, and your purpose. And here's the paradox. The less attached you are to her response, the more powerful your presence becomes. Why? Because emotional independence is magnetic. It shows strength, and strength is irresistible. There's also the Stoic concept of amor fati, or love of fate. This means accepting whatever happens as necessary and beneficial for your growth. If she reaches out, great. If she doesn't, that's also fine. Why? Because you're not relying on her actions to define your value. You've already chosen to see this situation, this silence, not as a loss, but as an opportunity to build the best version of yourself. And when you truly embody this mindset, you shift the power dynamic entirely. Instead of chasing her validation, you're showing her and yourself that you don't need it. Here's a simple exercise rooted in Stoicism. The next time you feel the urge to break no contact, pause and ask yourself, what do I control in this moment? The answer will always be the same, your response. That moment of self-awareness, of choosing to master your emotions, is where real power lies. And let's be clear, this isn't just about relationships. The discipline, patience, and self-mastery you build here will serve you in every area of your life, your career, your friendships, your mental health. Because when you become a Stoic in your heart, you become unshakable in the face of any challenge. Let me ask you again, are you the master of your emotions, or are your emotions the master of you? If you're claiming mastery, write this in the comments right now. I control my actions. My actions define my power. Let's put that energy into the universe. Now that you understand the Stoic mindset, let's take it a step further. In the next section, we're diving into one of the most underrated Stoic virtues, patience. And trust me, patience is the ultimate weapon when it comes to the no-contact rule. Let's keep going. Number 3, the role of patience and emotional mastery. If there's one thing most people struggle with during the no-contact rule, it's patience. Let's be real, it's hard. Days feel like weeks, and every second of silence can feel like a test of your willpower. But here's the secret. Patience isn't just waiting. It's a skill, a weapon, and a sign of true strength. And for the Stoics, patience wasn't passive, it was active. It was about enduring discomfort while staying in complete control of your mind. The Stoics believed that time is one of the greatest tools for growth. Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Think about that in the context of no contact. Every day you spend obsessing, overthinking, or waiting for her to reach out is a day wasted. But every day you spend investing in yourself, your mind, your body, your purpose, is a day gained. Patience, then, isn't about waiting for her. It's about using this time to sharpen yourself into someone so valuable that whether she comes back or not, you win. Patience also signals power. In a world where people expect instant gratification, the ability to pause and remain calm is a rare and attractive trait. When you don't react impulsively, when you don't text her out of desperation or constantly check her social media, you're showing her and yourself that you operate on a higher level. You're in control. And let me tell you this, nothing is more magnetic than a person who is grounded in their own strength, who isn't swayed by the winds of emotion. But here's where emotional mastery takes center stage. The Stoics taught that our emotions are not our enemies, they're signals. When you feel the urge to break no contact, it's not a weakness, it's a sign of something deeper. Maybe it's fear of losing her, maybe it's insecurity about your own worth. Whatever it is, emotional mastery doesn't mean suppressing those feelings. It means understanding them, acknowledging them, and choosing not to be controlled by them. Here's a powerful exercise. The next time impatience creeps in, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Maybe it's teaching you to trust the process. Maybe it's reminding you to focus on your own growth. Either way, by reflecting instead of reacting, you're training your mind to become stronger with every passing day. And let's talk about why this works so well in the context of no contact. Patience creates mystery. While you're calm, focused, and unbothered, she's left wondering what's going on in your mind. Why haven't you reached out? Have you moved on? Are you doing better without her? The longer you wait, the more these questions grow, and the more you stay on her mind. But let's flip this back to you for a moment. How much better will your life be when you master patience? When you're no longer swayed by anxiety, insecurity, or impulsive actions? This isn't just about her. It's about becoming the kind of person who thrives under pressure, who stays calm in chaos, and who plays the long game in every area of life. So, here's your challenge. Write this in the comments right now. Patience is my power. Because when you own that truth, you unlock a level of strength most people will never reach. Now that we've explored the role of patience and emotional mastery, let's take it even deeper. In the next section, we're diving into the psychology of scarcity and intrigue, how to make your silence work like magic. Let's keep going. Number 4, the dark psychology of scarcity and intrigue. Here's a psychological truth you need to understand. We value what is scarce. Think about it. Why is gold so precious? Why do people pay millions for rare paintings? It's not just about the material, it's about the fact that not everyone can have it. And the same principle applies to relationships. The less available you are, the more desirable you become. This is the foundation of the no-contact rule, and when you combine it with Stoic self-mastery, it becomes a game-changer. Let me explain. When you go silent, you create scarcity. Your presence, once taken for granted, becomes something rare. And scarcity triggers something deep within the human brain, a need to regain what was lost. It's called the endowment effect, a psychological bias where people place more value on something once they feel they've lost it. By stepping back, by removing your presence, you're essentially telling her subconscious, if you want me, you'll have to earn me. And trust me, that message is far more powerful than anything you could ever say in words. But it doesn't stop there. Silence also creates intrigue. When you're not posting on social media, not texting, not explaining yourself, she's left wondering, what's he doing? Who's he with? Has he moved on? This uncertainty is like a mental itch she can't scratch. Every day that passes without an answer deepens the intrigue, and every moment she spends wondering about you is a moment you stay on her mind. Here's where it gets even more powerful. When you combine scarcity and intrigue, you create a feedback loop. The more scarce you are, the more curious she becomes. The more curious she becomes, the more she values you. And the best part, you're not even doing anything. You're simply letting your absence speak louder than words. But there's a catch. This only works if you stay disciplined. The moment you break your silence, the illusion shatters. If you text her, post something passive-aggressive on social media, or try to get her attention, you're sending a clear signal. I'm not strong enough to stay silent. And when you do that, the scarcity and intrigue vanish. Suddenly, you're no longer rare or mysterious. You're just like everyone else. This is why Stoicism is so critical. The Stoics believed in controlling their emotions, not being controlled by them. They understood that silence isn't weakness. It's strength. By staying silent, by resisting the urge to explain yourself or seek validation, you're projecting confidence, discipline, and self-respect. And that energy is irresistible. Now let's take this one step further. While you're silent, don't just sit there waiting. Use this time to elevate yourself, hit the gym, pick up a new skill, dive into a passion project. Because here's the secret, the more you grow during this time, the more your value increases. And when she finally does see or hear from you again, she won't just see the person she remembers, she'll see someone even better. Let me challenge you again. Write this in the comments right now. I am rare, I am valuable. Say it, own it, believe it. Because the more you embrace this truth, the more others will feel it too. So, now that we've explored the dark psychology of scarcity and intrigue, it's time to talk about how to amplify this power even further. In the next section, we'll uncover the art of strategic silence and how saying nothing can speak volumes. Let's dive in. Number 5. Strategic silence. The art of saying nothing. Let's talk about one of the most underrated yet powerful tools you have in the no-contact rule. Strategic silence. Now, silence might seem passive, like you're just sitting back and doing nothing, but in reality, silence is one of the loudest statements you can make, if you use it wisely. And when it's grounded in Stoic principles, it becomes a weapon that amplifies your value and keeps you firmly on her mind. Think about it. We live in a world where everyone is constantly talking, posting, explaining, and seeking attention. Silence in this noisy world is different. It's rare. And because it's rare, it's powerful. When you stop talking, stop explaining, and stop chasing, you create a void. And here's the thing about voids. People feel compelled to fill them. Here's an example. Let's say you've been silent for a while and she notices. Maybe she even reaches out, curious or confused. But instead of rushing to respond, you stay calm. You don't explain yourself. You don't pour your heart out. You don't over-communicate. You let your actions, or your lack of action, do the talking. This is the art of strategic silence. It's not just about withholding communication. It's about making every moment of silence work for you. But why does this work? The human brain is wired to seek answers to unanswered questions. When you don't explain your absence, her mind starts searching for meaning. Why hasn't he responded? Is he busy? Does he not care anymore? The beauty of strategic silence is that it leaves the door open for her imagination to run wild. And let's be honest, her imagination will likely paint a far more interesting picture than reality. Here's the key, though. Silence isn't just about her, it's about you. It's a signal to yourself that you don't need to beg for attention or approval. When you stay silent, you're reminding yourself of your own value. You're practicing discipline. You're proving that you can resist the urge to react impulsively. And trust me, that kind of self-control isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. Let's ground this in Stoicism. The Stoics believed in the power of restraint. They understood that sometimes saying nothing is more powerful than saying everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In the context of no contact, this means you don't need to explain your silence. You don't need to justify your actions. You simply need to act in alignment with your principles and let your silence carry the weight of your message. But here's a crucial point. Silence isn't passive. While you're staying quiet, you should be actively working on yourself. Think of it as sharpening your sword while the world wonders what you're planning next. Every day you spend improving yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, is a day that increases your value. And when she finally does see or hear from you again, the impact of your silence will hit even harder. Here's an exercise for you. The next time you feel the urge to break your silence, pause and ask yourself, what will I gain by speaking? What will I lose? 9 times out of 10, you'll realize that saying nothing is the more powerful choice. So, let me challenge you again. Drop this phrase in the comments right now. My silence is my strength. Let this be your mantra as you move through this process. Now that you understand the art of strategic silence, let's move to the next level. In the next section, we'll explore how to subtly project power and maintain your influence even during no contact. Ready? Let's keep going. Number 6. Subtle indicators of power. During no contact. Let's make one thing clear. No contact doesn't mean disappearing completely into the shadows. While your silence is a powerful tool, there are subtle ways to project your strength and keep yourself on her mind without ever directly reaching out. These are what I call subtle indicators of power. They're quiet, understated, and incredibly effective at reinforcing the idea that you are thriving without her. First, let's talk about self-improvement. Nothing screams power more than visible growth. When you're working out consistently, advancing in your career, or picking up new skills, you're not just improving your life, you're sending a silent message, I am moving forward. And here's the kicker, this kind of growth doesn't need to be announced. If she sees you looking fitter, happier, or more confident, whether it's through a mutual friend, a casual encounter, or even your social media, it plants a seed in her mind. He's thriving without me. But let's take it a step further. You don't need to flaunt your progress. Instead, focus on subtlety. For example, maybe you post a picture of a new hobby, a trip you're taking, or even a book you're reading. No captions designed to call her out, no passive-aggressive quotes, just a quiet display of your growth. Why does this work? Because it shows that you're not trying to impress her. You're simply living your life, and that kind of authenticity is magnetic. Next, let's talk about energy. People can sense energy, even from a distance. When you're confident, focused, and calm, it radiates. Conversely, when you're desperate, anxious, or needy, it shows, even in silence. This is why it's so important to genuinely work on yourself during no contact. If you're just sitting around waiting for her to notice you, that energy will seep through. But if you're genuinely improving, if you're truly focused on your goals, that energy becomes undeniable. Another subtle indicator of power is social proof. This doesn't mean surrounding yourself with people just to make her jealous. It means genuinely engaging with your social circle, meeting new people, and building meaningful connections. When she sees you valued and respected by others, it amplifies your value in her eyes. Why? Because humans are wired to value what others value. But here's the golden rule. Never use these indicators as a way to manipulate or provoke her. If you're posting or engaging with the sole intent of getting a reaction, you're missing the point. These actions should be genuine reflections of your growth and your life, not calculated moves to get her attention. Remember, subtlety is key. The moment you try too hard, you lose the intrigue. The Stoics had a concept called eudaimonia, which means living in alignment with your highest self. This is your ultimate goal during no contact, not to prove anything to her, but to live a life so full, so rich with purpose, that your absence becomes its own statement. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In this case, the best way to win is not to obsess over her, but to focus entirely on becoming your best self. So here's your challenge. Drop this phrase in the comments right now. I elevate myself every day. Let that be your focus. Not her, not what she's thinking, but your own growth and elevation. Now that you've learned how to project power subtly and effectively, it's time to focus on the ultimate test of your discipline. In the next section, we'll discuss how the no contact rule isn't just about her, it's about testing and transforming you. Let's dive in. Number 7. The no contact rule as a test of your own discipline. Here's the truth about the no contact rule that no one tells you. It's not really about her. It's about you. It's about testing your discipline, your self-control, and your ability to stay grounded even when your emotions are pulling you in every direction. The no contact rule isn't just a strategy, it's a mirror. And what you see in that mirror is the raw, unfiltered truth about your ability to master yourself. Let's break this down. When you decide to go no contact, you're setting a boundary, not just with her, but with yourself. You're saying, I will not chase, I will not beg, I will not let my emotions control me. And every time you resist the urge to reach out, every time you choose silence over impulsive action, you're strengthening your discipline. You're proving to yourself that you are in control, not your fear, not your insecurity, not your need for validation. But let's be honest, it's not easy. There will be moments when the silence feels unbearable, moments when your mind races with thoughts like, what if she forgets me? What if she's with someone else? What if I never hear from her again? These are the moments that test you, and here's what the Stoics would say. These tests are not obstacles, they are opportunities. They are chances for you to practice patience, resilience, and self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the essence of the no-contact rule. You cannot control whether she thinks about you, whether she misses you, or whether she reaches out. But you can control how you respond to the silence. You can control how you spend your time, where you focus your energy, and how much value you place on yourself. And let's not forget the bigger picture. The discipline you build here doesn't just apply to relationships. It spills over into every area of your life. When you can master the art of waiting, of staying calm and composed under pressure, you become unstoppable. Whether it's your career, your friendships, or your personal goals, the ability to stay disciplined and focused is what separates those who thrive from those who falter. Here's a practical exercise for you. Every time you feel the urge to break no contact, shift your focus. Instead of thinking about her, think about a goal you've been neglecting. Maybe it's hitting the gym, starting a side hustle, or learning a new skill. Channel the energy you would have wasted on her into something that makes you better. Every time you do this, you're not just passing the test, you're leveling up. Here's a thought experiment to keep you grounded. Imagine the version of yourself 6 months from now. This version of you is confident, disciplined, and thriving. Every decision you make today, every urge you resist, is shaping that future self. Ask yourself, what would that version of me do right now? The answer will always guide you. Let's make this actionable. Write this phrase in the comments right now. I pass every test of my discipline. Let that be your mantra as you navigate this process. Now that you understand how the no contact rule is a test of your discipline, it's time to bring everything full circle. In the final section, we'll tie it all together and show you how to stay on her mind while becoming your strongest, most resilient self. Let's finish strong. Number 8. The final transformation, becoming unshakable. This is it. We've explored the strategies, the psychology, and the Stoic principles behind the no contact rule. But here's the big question. What's the ultimate goal? Is it to get her back? To make her miss you? To prove your worth? No. The ultimate goal is to transform yourself into someone so unshakable, so grounded in your own power, that whether she comes back or not, you win. Let's talk about what it means to become unshakable. This isn't about pretending you don't care or playing games. It's about reaching a point where your peace and confidence aren't tied to anyone else's actions. When you embrace the no contact rule with discipline and purpose, you're not just staying on her mind, you're reclaiming your own. You're breaking free from the emotional chaos and building a foundation of strength that can't be shaken by rejection, silence, or uncertainty. Here's the beauty of this transformation. It's not just about her. By focusing on yourself, your goals, your growth, and your well-being, you're becoming someone who is valuable to everyone. Friends, colleagues, future partners, they'll all feel the energy of someone who knows their worth and doesn't settle for anything less. Now, let's bring this back to Stoicism. The Stoics believed in living a life of virtue and purpose. They understood that true power comes from within, not from material possessions, external validation, or even romantic relationships. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you internalize this truth, you unlock a level of confidence and peace that no one can take from you. So how do you embody this transformation? First, you stay disciplined. The no contact rule is a crucible, a test of your ability to control your emotions and focus on what matters. Every time you resist the urge to reach out, you're proving to yourself that you are stronger than your impulses. Second, you focus on growth. Use this time to elevate every area of your life. Whether it's your fitness, your career, or your passions, every step you take toward becoming the best version of yourself reinforces your value, not just to her, but to yourself. Third, you embrace the outcome, whatever it may be. If she comes back, great. But if she doesn't, that's fine too. Why? Because you've already won. You've built a life so full, so rich, that her absence doesn't diminish your happiness. That's the ultimate power move, not needing anyone to validate your worth. And here's the paradox. The more unshakable you become, the more magnetic you are. People are drawn to those who are self-assured, disciplined, and at peace with themselves. Whether it's her or someone else, the right people will recognize your value because you recognize it first. So let's make this actionable. Right now, I want you to write this phrase in the comments. I am unshakable. Let it be a declaration of the transformation you're committing to, not just for her, but for yourself. Finally, remember this. The no contact rule isn't just a strategy. It's a journey of self-discovery. By staying silent, you're creating space. Not just for her to think about you, but for you to think about who you want to become. And when you approach this with the discipline of a Stoic, you don't just stay on her mind, You stay in control of your own. In the final section, we'll wrap everything up with a powerful reminder of what this process is really about and how to carry this mindset forward into every part of your life. Let's finish strong. Number 9. The final reminder and call to action. We've come full circle. By now you understand that the no-contact rule is so much more than a relationship tactic. It's a path to self-mastery, a journey of growth, and a test of your discipline. But before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final reminder. This is about you, not her, not what she thinks, not whether she comes back. This is about reclaiming your power, mastering your emotions, and becoming the strongest version of yourself. Think about everything we've covered. The psychology of scarcity, the power of patience, the art of strategic silence, and the transformation that comes from focusing on your own growth. These principles aren't just for the no-contact rule, they're a blueprint for life. Every time you resist the urge to chase, every time you choose discipline over impulse, you're proving to yourself that you are in control. And that control, that's your superpower. Remember this, the no-contact rule isn't about waiting for her to come back. It's about building a life so rich, so fulfilling, that whether she comes back or not, you're thriving. This is your time to focus on your goals, your passions, and your purpose. It's your time to build a life that's so magnetic, so full of value, that the right people, whether it's her or someone else, are naturally drawn to you. And here's the beautiful irony. When you truly let go of needing her validation, when you stop chasing and start focusing on yourself, that's when the dynamic shifts. That's when you become unforgettable. But by then, it won't even matter, because you'll already be at peace with yourself. Let's ground this in Stoic wisdom one last time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." This is your call to action. Don't wait for her to see your value. Live it every single day. Don't let your happiness depend on her actions. Create your own. This is how you win. Not by getting her back, but by building a life that you're proud of. So, let me challenge you one last time. Drop this phrase in the comments right now. I am my own greatest asset. Let this be your declaration of self-worth and independence. Because the moment you realize that everything you need is already within you, you become unstoppable. Now, before you go, make sure to hit that like button if this video resonated with you. Subscribe to Stoic Blessing and turn on notifications so you never miss another video that helps you unlock your